is lovely. It's actually quite sunny-ish Wednesday.
A bit cloudy, but it's very pleasant.
It is. It was sunny when we went outside earlier. My name's Clare Watson. I'm an international board certified lactation consultant covering Cheshire and Staffordshire. And I welcome as my very, very special guest today, Francoise.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. Feeling very fresh, considering, actually.
Yeah,
yes,
I can imagine. Yes.
I mean, as you know, I'm a dad of two. You know, Sophia and I are married. You know, I've been married for a few years. We've got two wonderful boys. One is 4 years old, and one is 8 weeks old.
I know.
And,
oh my God! I can't believe I got you out of the house in these kind of.
I know.
8 weeks is still early days.
I got special permission, but I'm very lucky. You know, I'm very privileged. But obviously, you know, 8 weeks old, and you've got to cope with all the cluster feeding and the disturbed nights. And last night was no exception.
Oh no! What happened?
Well, just, you know, a normal night, absolutely normal, whereby 3 or 4 times, you know, during the night, Lucien, who is 8 weeks old, woke up because he needed the feed. And obviously, Mummy will be up and feeding Lucien, and Dad, me, will be there in support, making sure that Mum has got everything, you know, she needs, but also Lucien is also provided with the support, especially, you know, post feeds. You know, and it's not unusual at that age, you know, when they experience a bit of a tummy ache.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And what I tend to do is I will take Lucien away from Mummy, and I will give him the daddy dance a little bit around the room until he settles down again. Yeah. And then he can go back to sleep. To
be fair, that really helped me in those kind of evening feeds and stuff. If I just didn't have to get out of bed. So if the child was provided to me, I could feed him and then hand him back again. That was like such an enormous help.
Yes, absolutely. We're a team, you know. It's very much teamwork, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah, it has to be, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
You need somebody
100%.
to kind of help, whoever it is. You need somebody to help you. And the important thing about the snacks, which has been brought up by some of our listeners, do you put them within reach?
Absolutely.
Or do you put them just out of the way?
No, I took some measurements, obviously. You know, it's very important that, you know, Sophie's arm length, you know, is known to me, so I can, no, I'm joking a little bit here. But no, as a dad, obviously, what you do is you provide, you know, for the cups of tea, you know, for the water, very important, you know, for the snacks. And it's important that wherever you put them, and the phone, absolutely. And wherever you put them, you know, they've got to be within reach. Okay, so
you don't tease her then. You could try that. Sorry, Sophie.
No, but no, I've tried sometimes, but it doesn't go down really well.
Do an experiment of how far you
absolutely. You know, if I put it there, you know, no. Okay, I'll put it there. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. So, what all women want to know is, how do you cope without boobs?
Oh.
Because my answer to parenting was put him on the boob.
Yes.
He cries, put him on the boob. He wants food, put him on the boob. He's too excited about something, put him on the boob. You get the message here.
Yes, absolutely. And as a dad, obviously, you know, I do not have that kind of tool.
How do you parent?
We've got, you know, myriads of tools and strategies, you know, to do that as dads. Obviously, what I was talking about, the daddy dance a little earlier.
Can we have a demonstration of the daddy dance?
I'm sure we can do that at the end. You know, but it's
you heard it here first. If it stays on the end, we get a daddy dance demonstration.
You know, delaying the, you know, strategy here. You know, like as a teacher, you know, I know how to do that. Yes, I will show you, but later on. But it's essentially, you know, you hold the child, you know, in a position that is comfortable to them and comfortable to you, and then, you know, as you walk around the room, you know, you've got that sort of, you know, bounce, you know, in the motion, you know, that seems to be in tune, you know, with the child. Usually it's really good, you know, to expel, you know, any air they might have in their digestive system, and that's where the pain comes from. You know, it's the air, you know, that is stopped, but also, you know, the fact that
and you can use baby wearing for the same thing.
Absolutely, yes. You mean like a sling, for example? Yes. So we've got a couple of slings, and I'm using the sling a lot at the minute. You know, just to make sure that's so. Yes, daddy dance. You know, holding the child. You know, skin to skin.
Now that is, yeah, that's interesting, because we talk a lot about skin to skin with mums straight after the birth.
Yes.
We talk a little bit about skin to skin with mums down the line a little bit, so, but we're not always good at remembering that. No. We very rarely talk about skin to skin with dads at a later point. So is this is something that you find really useful? Absolutely.
We're very much in tune, with the scientific findings. Whatever science says, we always listen.
Yeah.
There's nothing that can replace the value of science. Especially when it comes down to breastfeeding and bringing up your children. It's got to be science based. Sophie did skin to skin, as soon as Lucien was born. Same with Jules. I did the same. Within a half an hour to 60 minutes, that both boys were born. You have the child, and if you have the opportunity to do it skin to skin,
yeah,
obviously,
and it's still really good, like later on, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. You create a bond with your child. It's what it is. It's not just the sound of your voice. It's not just the fact that you will sing to the child or try to play. Lucien is 8 weeks old, so obviously, the extent to which you can play or communicate, we're very much at the level of proto-communication or proto-conversation, as it's called. So it's very much, the sound of your voice, but it's also the hormones that your body will exude, as it were, or produce. That the child will receive, and this
also your microbiome, so the microbes that exist on your skin. You'll be helping him to develop
absolutely
the local ones as well. Just on
exactly
microbiome note, I can't get away without mentioning it. So.
No, absolutely. So,
slotted in there. Thank you very much.
Excellent opportunity, obviously.
Yeah. So it is, and it can really calm a child, can't it?
Absolutely, yes.
I find even with a toddler sometimes. Doing a bit of skin to skin can just calm everything down, especially if they're poorly.
Oh yes. Well, obviously, as a teacher myself, I'm quite versed into the attachment theory, but also attachments, and so the child will try to attach, to any adult, they are used to living with, so mom and dad, obviously. And
that's really important.
It will, yes, exactly. It will help, the development of the brain, in the brain development, the reptilian brain, as I understand it is called.
Absolutely.
And for the emotional development, and then later on, that attachment, will sort of, it's what triggers, the actual relationship between mom and dad, between the child and mom and the child and dad,
to foster
and to foster relationships in the future. Exactly.
Yeah.
And the child will trust you, and the child will be ready, to actually receive, the teachings from you, as it were.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's great. Do you ever do singing?
Yeah. Yes.
You're not going to admit it now, are you?
I will not
you know where this is going.
I will not sing for you. Not now, maybe later after the video is done. But yes, singing, humming. I think we talked about that earlier on. If whenever you hold a child against your chest, they're quite receptive to a low pitch hum, like because that's the sort of frequency they heard through the womb before being born. And to actually receive that against, while you're, sort of rocking them, tends to have a soothing effect on them.
And sometimes we found that separation away from mum was really helpful. So because you don't smell of milk,
no,
that can sometimes be calming. I mean, obviously, you would give him straight back again if he was queuing for a feed.
Of course.
But sometimes just taking a step away from mum and being with dad with the low humming and the daddy dance can just settle everything down and just let mum gather herself back together.
Absolutely.
Again.
Yes.
Yeah. So you haven't found any problems kind of bonding with your two, even though you weren't feeding them?
No. It may sound a bit pretentious, but I'm very much of the my approach to things is very much, take it as it comes and try to make informed decisions.
Yeah.
And if we are faced with a challenge, and because we, with Mum, we're very, privileged in that sense, we've got really good communications, with each other. We will sit down and try to find a solution which is based once again on and informed decisions on science and so on. So we've got challenges like everybody. We face challenges in the way we relate to our children at various stages, but I think it feels to me that whatever solution we put forward, in the end, has always been successful, as it were. So,
but I know you and Sophie work really closely together as a team. You kind of, and do you think it's a little bit about that sort of separation of roles in the beginning, not both of you trying to achieve the
they
same
complement
thing
each other?
Yeah,
the roles complement each other very much so. Yes. Because obviously there are things, and we've had this conversation before. There are things that, as a dad, as male, I will never be able to perform, whatsoever. But I'm still valuable as a person, in the family unit.
I'm glad you realised that.
5 minutes before I came here, it was like, I had that eureka moment, and it's like, hallelujah, we've actually, yes, that's who I am. Yeah. But more seriously, it's, I've lost my train of thoughts now. Yes, so the bonding and, how valuable, the presence of the dad is, and we've got, I've got so many ways, of being there, both for Mum and for the child, for the baby. It's all about having, that variety of, tools, in the toolbox.
I think Laura, one of our listeners, commented, and it's something that I experienced as well, that a supportive dad or a supportive partner actually allows you to create that breastfeeding relationship. Because they provide a kind of a barrier against the outside world, but also they just protect you, and it means that you can concentrate on working out how to do this and how to do the whole baby thing, and you don't have to worry about anything else, because like the dads are there to look after all of that and just to do all of the normal things as well, and
the protective role of the dad. Absolutely, yes. It's Mum, obviously, when she's breastfeeding, it's taxing on the body, and it's at every hour of the day and night, so it can be very tiring. It can cloud the judgments. It can make you feel very vulnerable. And in that sense, I'm not talking about being a superhero dad with a cape and the armor. I wish I could do that sometimes. Fly to the co-op, for that pint of milk. But obviously I can't. But it's when the supportiveness of the husband, of the partner, of the companion becomes really handy. And a typical.
Makes such a difference.
It makes such a difference. Let's talk about the practical case here, whereby Mum has been breastfeeding. Those cluster feeds, that can be so exhausting. Mum is tired, and now she needs the daddy's brain to actually work out, like even simple operations. So what do I do? What should I?
Where are my pajamas?
Where are my pajamas? Where's my cup of tea? He keeps crying. What should I? Etc. Etc. And you see, to be able, to be there, and to say, for example,
as well.
Exactly, so. Did you remember to do this? Have you thought about contacting your lactation consultant, for example? For example.
Well,
and so what did the GP say about that? Oh, yes, I should have contacted the GP. And it's good to know, for example, that when you've got a newborn and when you've got a baby, you call the GP office and they've got to see you the same day.
Yes, in the first 6 months.
For those of us, who sometimes. When you're wary of calling the the GP reception, that receptionist that will sort of put obstacles and in the way, but if you've got a newborn, you're through straight away, you jump the queue.
Yeah.
You know, as it were. And to you know, so the dad, you know, is there as well. You know, the dad, the partner, the husband, you know, will be there. You know, to you know, to provide the brain power sometimes. You know, to see through
you're
the
absolutely
clouds.
right, because during pregnancy and in the early period after birth, the brain changes in the woman.
Yes.
So they rely, instead of having the logical side of the brain, they're relying very much on the instinctive side, which allows them to learn this new skill in a better way. But you do lose kind of short-term memory, because I think that allows you to survive. So you lose your short-term memory and the ability to think logically about things. So if you've got somebody who can be that logical side and say, no,
the rational thinking.
We've had 2 dirty nappies and 6 wet nappies in 24 hours. It's going really well. You're doing a brilliant job. That kind of thing is just brilliant.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, so useful. And have you found, obviously you've got 2 now, so have you found that your role has changed over time with them?
With regards to, we've got a 4-year-old boy, and obviously he's a little lad now, as it were. So the what he expects from, I'm going to talk about, you know, his relation to dad here, you know, but what he expects from dad obviously has completely changed.
Yeah.
And I think it's you know, when you start early, you know, when you start the support, you know, like we were describing, you know, with the skin to skin, you know, where they were born, or like, you know, to be there, you know, and help them in the night, etc. You know, play with them, you know, like hold them in your arms. You know, it facilitates, you know, the bonding later on in their lives. In the first couple of years of Jules's life, you know, who's now, you know, so Jules is our 4-year-old. Obviously, it was very much mummy.
Yeah.
Okay, but now it's a bit more daddy.
Yeah,
you know,
it does. It changes, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
So,
and
like you said, I think it's the complementary role.
it's a complementary role. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just kind of, it doesn't make you less important.
No,
it just makes you different.
Absolutely.
That's great. Everybody's different. It's fantastic. So yeah, that's really good. If you wouldn't mind just nipping to that box for me.
Of course.
We're about to finish up here, so thank you very much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed that. I've really enjoyed it. Yeah, just pull the top and just grab one of those. Very nice. Thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed my chat with Francoise.
Absolutely.
I'd love to have you back, because we've got,
I would love to.
Yeah, we cut it down quite a lot, didn't we, about what we want to talk about, and we could definitely talk for several hours. So I'm sure we could have some more daddy tips and ways of doing things. So just before we finish, then, just if you wouldn't mind, just demonstrate the old daddy dance.
Oh no, you didn't.
Oh yes, I did.
Right. Okay.
So,
I'm going to make a fool of myself here.
Absolutely.
Can I stand up?
You can stand up.
Okay. Okay. So
Here we go.
if you hold the child, you know, securely, and you've got the head, you know, against your chest here, obviously you produce, you know, the low pitch hum, but
Excellent
like
dad dancing.
Something like
yeah,
this, yes.
Brilliant. Thank
Not a
you.
problem.
Right, thank you so much to everyone, and we'll see you next week. Possibly end it anyway. There we go.